Hello, my name is Kyle Power, and this is my ethical analysis presentation for NPA 580 at Cal Baptist University. In this presentation, we will discuss a potential ethical dilemma that may be brought to light to a public administrator, determine the duty and obligation of a public administrator, and analyze the situation with the stakeholders involved, and we'll also look at the ethical approaches to get a comprehensive understanding of the situation to make a judgment or a decision. The ethical dilemma that we will look at is something that from time to time gets brought up in the media, and the scenario would be a public safety employee that has suffered an on-duty injury that has been off work for a period of time. And during this time, the employee has been receiving workers' compensation benefits. During the period of injury for that employee, other employees have noticed the injured employee posting pictures on social media depicting an active and non-injured lifestyle. The issue becomes presented to managers within an organization due to the optics that the injured employee may be abusing workers' compensation benefits while supposedly being injured and unable to work. Certainly, the optics of an injured employee posting pictures of a non-injured lifestyle, being active, and doing things that an injured person would not be able to do would probably not pass the newspaper test in the light that if it were brought to the media and was put out for the public to know about, it would be possibly highly scrutinized by the public and the media for an injured employee receiving workers' compensation benefits while also posting pictures of being highly active and capable. By using the problem-solving model for ethical analysis, we'll go through the three stages of description, the analysis, and the decision that the public administrator or manager will go through to get a better idea of the duty and obligation in this scenario. First, looking comprehensively at the picture of an injured employee, some things need to be determined. We'll do a stakeholder analysis and kind of consider all the different stakeholders in this scenario. First, the injured employee, although is somehow injured and getting the doctor to write them off of work and remain on workers' compensation benefits. The pictures that are being posted to social media may not be current pictures. They may not be pictures that were taken during the time period that they are injured. So that's something that would have to be looked at and investigated. The employee's duty to act, the fellow employees that bring this concern to their managers feel that it is their duty to act as employees by bringing this to light, that a fellow coworker may be potentially violating the workers' compensation benefits. The employee and the employer has mechanisms and a right to investigate and notify the proper authorities if the decision is that it warrants an investigation. The injured employee's physician, who is working with the injured employee and writing prescribed disability or limitations that employee may have that relieves them from their duties, then keeps them off work and on workers' compensation benefits. Also, the injured employee's attorney, who may be representing that injured employee to maintain off-duty and continue to supposedly recover until they are fit for duty. Another scenario that comes up in workers' compensation fraud quite often are claim mills, where physicians and attorneys work side by side to maximize the disability payouts or maximize the time that an employee can remain off duty to corroborate and maximize that employee's benefits for being injured from a workplace injury. By conducting the analysis, we can be expected to do what is right to determine the obligation for the organization and as a public administrator to determine the duty to act The implications that are being brought to light are potential fraud implications that do not necessarily advance the public's interest. These also could be detrimental to the organization's perception from the public, and it is in the interest of the public administrator to protect the public's perception of that organization and to allow for a democratic process to take place. The theories of virtue-based approach to understand what a good person would do under this scenario, a principle-based approach that would be to understand that that we must act in fairness of all parties involved, to follow the laws and policies and regulations that are put into the organization that we're expected to conduct, as well as the laws that are and rules that the injured employee must follow, as well as result-based or result-oriented outcomes and how to promote the best outcome for the organization and the public and their interest. And in this scenario, there could be a lot of limitations as far as being able to prove the person was doing these acts while off on the workers' compensation benefits. There could be a lot of walls that we'll just not be able to prove. But as we look through this analysis and investigate and get the facts, we can further review what we need to do as far as what the next step or the right thing to do would be. From an ethical theory standpoint, some theories that apply are utilitarianism, contractarianism, and the theory of moral luck. Utilitarianism in this scenario, the public safety member or employee, or all employees in public safety have the public's interest in mind in all acts and duty to act in the best interest of the public and the citizens. Failure to act by addressing this issue as a public administrator may set the precedent that to other employees that this type of behavior will go overlooked and that this behavior is acceptable, that injured employees can live an active, injury-free lifestyle while receiving workers' compensation benefits, and that would be a negative outcome for the public's interest. And by addressing the greater good of the whole would be to look at this and scrutinize it for the optics that are being shown through social media and possibly abusing workers' compensation benefits. In the case of contractarianism, the employees that brought this to a manager or public administrator's attention felt that they had the duty to report it, that the optics didn't look good, that there was some type of abuse going on, and that there was some type of defection of this employee with a social contract that they have with their fellow employees, with their duty as public employees to the citizens, and also potentially defrauding the workers' compensation benefits. And in the case of moral luck, this is something that probably is rampant in public safety employees being on injury and receiving workers' compensation benefits for a long period of time, yet living a normal and active lifestyle that would reflect that they would be actually fit for duty, but being incentivized to stay off duty and receive workers' compensation benefits without having to actually work. There are probably many of those that do this and are lucky in the sense that they just don't get caught. So when someone brings these type of behaviors to light through social media or people witness these things, it needs to be scrutinized and looked at. Due to the optics and the scenario with having fellow employees bringing this type of scenario to light to public administrators, it would, under my organization, would require to report this to a fraud hotline, and many organizations have these mechanisms to push these things up the chain and allow for a democratic process to take place, for the experts to look into this, request doctors' reports, and speak with attorneys to determine if they are actually injured and not able to work, or if they are actually fit for duty and abusing these benefits. And that is the presentation. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching.